Hi guys, this is my Engaged ELA book talk, and today my book talks are on Mackenzi Lee's Montague series. Last year I read this book, The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue. It's about a young man named Monty, and he takes a journey across Europe, kind of falling in love with everyone he meets along the way, but he really mostly loves his best friend Percy. They go on a voyage across Europe, and his sister was one of my favorite characters, so when I found out that this book was coming out, The Lady's Guide to Petticoats and Piracy, I had to get it immediately. I am only about 100 pages in this book, but I'm cruising through it because I love it so much. One thing I love the most about this book is the way that Mackenzi Lee uses humor to tell the story. Now, in The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue, it's really a story about equality in terms of who you love. And so Monty loves his friend Percy, and I can't tell you what might happen with them, but I liked how she writes about equality in this book, and that theme carries along here to The Lady's Guide also, because we've got on our hands Felicity, who is one of my favorite characters I've read about so far. Felicity wants to grow up to be a doctor. She's a very young woman, and in the part that I'm reading right now, she's in the middle of trying to fight for her right to become a doctor. She's so educated. She's going to be a great doctor, I can tell, but she doesn't have a chance. So I picked out a part that I really think you should read along with me, because it tells you about how far Felicity is willing to go, and it really tells you how Mackenzi Lee writes her characters. So in this part of the story, you need to know that Felicity is about to go in front of a college board of doctors to prove why she should be able to go to this college and study to be a doctor too. In this part of the book, it's the night before she's going to sleep, before she'll meet this board of doctors, and she is so nervous. Here's what she has to say. I sleep as well as a girl can hope to the night before a meeting that could change the course of her life, which is to say, I do not sleep at all, but rather lie awake for hours, mentally reviewing the process of lancing boils, like they might quiz me on that one very specific thing I just happened to study, and I try not to let my thoughts spin into hypotheticals of where I would live if they did admit me, or how I'd pay the £50 tuition, or what I would do if my tutors did not describe to an anatomist philosophy. When I do fall asleep, it's into dreams of missing my meeting time, or my feet turning to stones as I race toward the assigned room, or the board asking me why I should not be allowed to study medicine, and I cannot come up with a single coherent reason. Later, she goes on to talk about the reasons why she does deserve to be there, and she kind of gives herself a pep talk saying, I deserve to be here, I deserve to take up space in this world, and I think that's a really important message for all of us to hear. I love that excerpt because our author, Mackenzi Lee, uses such realistic dialogue, and she expresses the racing thoughts of teenagers in the way that she just writes this very long sentence about how Felicity feels before she heads into that meeting. I think it's really important to really take away from both of these two books the idea that each person has value, that we're equals, no matter how different we might be, we're all pretty much the same in the end, and I think that you might like to give these books a try. Enjoy!